What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this highly anticipated album from Kanye West called Jesus is King. Now, Kanye West is a rapper, producer, and jack of all trades who's coming out of Chicago, and he first really started to make waves when his name popped up in the credits of Jay-Z's classic album, The Blueprint. Of course, he was doing some production before then, but it was his beats on that that really took him to the next level, leading into his debut album, The College Dropout. I don't got to say too much about that because I think most people would agree that that's a classic. It really showed that he could rap about as good as he could produce, and I'm also not going to break down his entire discography because I feel like I've done that in every Kanye West review. Not only that, but I did rank his entire discography in an old podcast episode, so you can check that out on the channel, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. I'll post some of those links down below. Now, one thing you can say for sure about Kanye West is that he's not afraid to try new things, because we heard that on 808s and Heartbreak, where he was coming through with some auto-crooning and synth pop, and we also heard it on Yeezus, where he was getting experimental with these industrial sounds that he had never really messed with before. As a result of this, whenever you ask someone how they feel about his discography, you're going to get a wide array of answers, but for myself personally, I have not been a big fan of Kanye's recent music. I feel like a lot of it has been kind of sloppy and rushed. We've seen this in the way that these projects have come out, and then he had to go back and mix things, add things, take things out, and all of that. So My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is still the last Kanye album that I've really loved. I have like some tracks here and there, so I'm not trying to write him off and say like he's complete trash or anything like that. I just haven't come back to any of those other projects, man. I just really didn't connect with them, and I have seen some people feeling the same way, so I don't think I'm all alone there. On top of all that, we do have all that foolishness going on with Kanye West, where he was rocking the MAGA hat and making those dumbass comments about slavery. And while I'm not trying to frame this review in that, I feel like I can't, just avoid that, because that is a topic that is going to come up talking about this album and talking about Kanye. He has said all kinds of dumb shit and been very hypocritical over the past year or two. So I was kind of curious to see how that would tie into this album, see some of the stuff that he was saying and how it would work. Because leading up to this album, he was actually doing that Sunday service, which in my opinion kind of came across as cultish, man. He was out there selling his overpriced clothes, including some of those socks. Hopefully he didn't have people drinking the Kool-Aid like Jim Jones, talking about the cultist, not the rapper. So really, there wasn't a real surprise once we heard that he was announcing this gospel album, because he was really heavy into doing that. Seems like he wanted to take that gospel religious stuff and move forward. So here we are, man. We come to this project right here where Kanye West is kind of trying to make it sound like he's a changed man. You'd think he was a bad boy artist the way he's flipping around like this, because we all remember Loon. He left the rap game and became a Muslim. We also remember Shine. He became Jewish. Craig Mack, before he died, rest in peace, he was messing around with some really weird church. Of course, Mace left as well. It's just kind of funny to see that rappers, sometimes they make that choice and that decision, and usually it does result in some pretty bad music and some pretty weird stuff that they're saying, man. I remember leading into this project, Kanye West was actually saying that he wanted to quit rap because it's the devil music. Also, while he was working on this, he wanted everybody just to abstain from having sex, or premarital sex at least is what he was saying. But if anything, man, based on how this album sounds, he should have had a motherfucking orgy. It might have resulted in some better music, man. You know what I mean? Call up Julie K if you have to. You could call up maybe, I don't know, Lisa Tiffian, maybe Leighton Bent. Okay, let me stop. Let me not get carried away here. But you see what I'm saying, man. I thought this album was kind of dry. And we are going to finally talk about the album, man. I've been talking about all the stuff leading into it because I feel like you got to talk about that before you get into the album. So right away, we're getting hit with the song Every Hour. I actually thought this was kind of a nice gospel track because you're getting that nice piano as well as some choir vocals that are really good. And on the last track, Jesus is Lord, we got Kanye singing with some pretty bad vocals about how everyone has to bow down to Jesus and all this stuff. Like it just gets kind of redundant and tiring throughout this whole album. That song in particular, I didn't think that was very good. It's just a short little outro, so it is what it is. And that's obviously kind of what you expect from this. But the thing with gospel music is it's most known for its uproarious, lavish, beautiful, uplifting production. Same thing with the vocals. They're supposed to lift you up and make you feel really good, even if you're not a fan of that music, really. But I didn't really get that here. Like, there are the odd moments where you get that, like that choir intro, but for the most part, this shit I thought was flatter than some pancake ass in yoga pants. Now, to be fair, I will say that some of the production on here is dope. I like that sample chopping on Follow God because it did have that kind of throwback Kanye sound. And then with Salah, we're getting this slow organ build up. Although, once again, with the religious stuff, he has like a minute-long break of just Hallelujah being sang right in the middle of the song. That kind of took me out of it. It just got old quicker than a toothy blowjob. But my favorite beat has got to be Pierre Bourne's work on the song On God. It has a sort of 80s video game sound to it, so that was really cool. But once again, the songwriting on these tracks, Oh man, like the content just gets very redundant. The lyricism isn't great, which has kind of been an ongoing theme with Kanye in recent years. And it's the same thing here. Like, it's really hard to buy what Kanye is selling, whether defending the ridiculously high price of his clothes because of debt and taxes. And then there's even a part where he's having discussions with his father about IG not being Christ-like. And to be clear, like, there are some Christian rappers that I do appreciate. I think Lecrae has made some pretty good bangers in the past, and when you're listening to it, you don't feel like you're just being pummeled with the goddamn God hammer, whereas on this, it does feel like you are, man. It just feels very preachy, forced, and judgmental, rather than feeling spiritual and uplifting, which is what I think gospel music should feel like and what it should sound like. I didn't really get that here. This album, to me, it kind of seemed like an overbearing, angry grandmother who thinks you got to start going to church every day and through the week, maybe even some Monday school and shit, just because she saw you had a tiny tattoo or you smoked half a cigarette or something, man. I just thought this album got kind of preachy, and that just wasn't something that I could really connect with, man. Even when I try to take myself out of that, again, there is some religious rap that I like. I just don't really like Kanye's take on this one. To me, it doesn't really seem legit. It kind of seems like he's just forcing this shit on to kind of reach into that market and start this tour of saying, you know what, I'm a changed man, I've found God and all this stuff. Just really did not seem real to me, man. I'm sorry. That's just kind of how I felt about it, but it is what it is. You guys can let me know in the comments section what you think. And even though I do understand how he's speaking on the ills of IG and social media, we all know people are obsessed with likes. They're ignoring their family and stuff like that because they're always on their phones and all that. While I do understand that, I think his take is generally pretty damn shallow when it comes to that. And even on Closed on Sunday, he warned us about IG even further, and then he spits this awful bar. Closed on Sunday, you my Chick-fil-A, you're my number one with the lemonade. These bars from Kanye are just so damn uninspired. I was really disappointed with the songwriting here. Like, I thought I was going to come out of this maybe understanding him a bit more, like, wow, maybe he really did find himself and he has some pretty interesting takes on religion and all that. But he definitely doesn't, man. This shit was very sloppy and rushed. And by the way, it's kind of funny that they actually took extra time to put this shit out, because the mixing throughout this album isn't even good, man. The mixing is all messed up. A lot of this stuff just does not seem like it was all put in place tightly to be released, man. I'm kind of disappointed with this, and I would not be surprised if in a couple days or maybe a week, Kanye announces that he's doing more tweaks to fix things or add things, because that just seems to be his MO these days. And on top of everything else that I've said already, he really does lack self-awareness at many moments on this album. There are moments on here where he's wondering why people are being judgmental and why people are upset with him and why Christians won't fully accept him, when all he's done for the past year or so is say dumb shit, be hypocritical, and just not really be as Christian-like as I guess he's supposed to be, whatever that means. But, you know, I mean, like, have a bit of self-awareness, man. With all the shit that you caused and all the stuff that you said, it's not hard, not far-fetched to understand why people aren't feeling you right now, Kanye. But, I mean, I guess you just can't figure it out. Just like you probably couldn't figure this album out, man, because this shit is a damn mess. I will say, Everything We Need is all right, because you do get a decent performance from Ant Clemens as well as Ty Dolla. They're on here just delivering some nice vocals and harmonies. And Ant Clemens does the same thing on Water. Didn't think that was a great gospel song. There's a lazy verse from Kanye where he's just asking for endless favors from Kanye. Just reminds me when my daughter's in front of the snack closet and she's asking me, like, Daddy, can you give me gobstoppers? Daddy, can I have gummies? Daddy, can I have Honey Nut Cheerios? Daddy, can I have granola bars? Just like, it just was not good songwriting. Same shit over and over. And then on the song God Is, we get Kanye singing terribly once again about how great Jesus is. This shit just isn't very compelling to me in any type of way. Sounds redundant. It sounds forced. It kind of actually reminds me of that South Park episode where they made that Christian rock band called Faith Plus One, and they were just scribbling in the word Jesus and God in certain parts. And they're like, yep, now we got a gospel album and we can hit that audience and make that money. That is exactly what it kind of seems like Kanye West is doing here. You know what I mean? He's a gay fish. He likes fish dicks. So I guess now he's messing around trying to make some Christian rap instead of Christian rock. So maybe he's Faith Plus Two. I don't know. But the main theme I'm taking from this is that for a so-called gospel album, I did not come out of this feeling inspired or uplifted. And I'm not even saying you got to be super religious and connect to all the God and Jesus talk. Even when you hear gospel music, in spite of that, if you're not into that, you still get that good feeling. It just is kind of has a nice sound. Anyone who's been to Black Church knows what it's like, God damn it. Or maybe, oh my God, I just said God damn it in a gospel review. I'm going to hell. I mean, I'm probably going to hell anyway. I said much worse in reviews. But anyway, anyone who's been to a Black church or maybe to your grandparents' house, you've heard gospel music all the time, man. You know how it goes. Even if you don't like it, it's kind of warm and it feels nice. I didn't really get that at all here. You're also going to get the song Use This Gospel, which I actually found to be a bit disappointing. You do get Kenny G doing his thing on there. Shout out Kenny G with that sax. And you get that Clips reunion. but I thought that Clips reunion was the disappointing aspect of it, man. Didn't think the bars were that great here from Pusha T, really, but no malice. He actually kind of had some nice lines on here, like when he spits, "A lot of damaged souls, I done damaged those, and in my arrogance, took a camera pose," which is just him speaking on how he's been in the rap game, maybe he's inspired the youth to do certain things, but now he's changed his ways. He actually used to go by Malice, of course, but now he's no Malice because he is doing that Christian rap thing. So I thought he was pretty good. I'm not saying the Clips reunion was bad. I'm just saying, you know, if you've heard classic Clips before, you would have wanted something probably a little bit harder, which, you know, I just didn't really like that too much. It is what it is, but I don't know, man. I didn't really like this one much at all. I think the features were probably the best part of it. I mentioned the choir, some of the singing, no malice. I think the production is actually kind of fine on here, but Kanye himself just has lazy bars. A lot of the flows on here are very straightforward and dry. His singing is awful. But I know he's still probably going to get praised for being a genius, because it doesn't matter, man. Almost every time Kanye drops, it seems like he's getting these crazy reviews in spite of how sloppy some of these albums have been. Or maybe I'm just crazy. End of the day, I know it's all opinions. I'm not saying you're wrong if you like this shit. But I didn't like this shit because to me, it is a 2 out of 5. I almost went lower, but like I said, I like some of that stuff, man. The beats are pretty good on here. There are moments from the features. I thought On God was actually a pretty good song, but that's about it, man. I just can't sit here and praise mediocrity all the time, especially coming from Kanye. It's like, again, coming back to my daughter. She's drawing pictures all the time. Not every picture can make it on the damn fridge, man. I can't have a million pieces of paper that are just crazy looking dogs and elephants and shit like that, and me and my wife dancing. She actually draws me and my wife dancing, but it looks like I'm choking the shit out of her. It's actually kind of creepy. I might need to talk to her about that. But anyway, not every picture can make it on the fridge, man. Sometimes you just gotta keep the best ones. And I don't know, the songs on here, there were not many great ones. Kanye's albums recently, there have not been many great ones. So I don't know, man. The fridge is looking kind of bare. That's a fucking really bad analogy. Like, I didn't really think that whole shit out, but you've been watching me for a while. You know I just kind of go off track. But anyway, that's how I feel, man. Kind of disappointed with this one. Not that I was expecting a whole lot. Maybe, you know, I thought it could have been a bit better, but here we are, 2 out of 5. Here's my rant. It's kind of all over the place, but it's just that type of album, man. So you guys hit me up in the comment section to let me know how you feel. And of course, make sure you do that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.